In South Africa, the relationship between politics and law enforcement has always been a sensitive and often controversial subject. Over the years, citizens have watched with concern as political leaders, police officials, and government institutions sometimes clash in ways that shake public trust. The latest chapter in this ongoing story involves suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, who has taken his battle to the Constitutional Court after being linked to allegations that he shielded criminal syndicates. This is not just about one man defending his reputation. It raises bigger questions about accountability, political maneuvering, and the independence of the police service in a democracy that is still facing deep challenges almost 3 decades after the end of apartheid. The case began when KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, made public remarks suggesting that certain political figures were standing in the way of police investigations and obstructing law enforcement work. While he did not name anyone directly, the comments quickly fueled speculation in the media. Reports soon linked the minister to these allegations, and before long, Mchunu was placed on precautionary suspension. For him, this move was more than unfair. In a sworn affidavit submitted to the Constitutional Court, he said he felt blindsided, describing Mkhwanazi's words as damaging, unfounded, and unexpected. According to Mchunu, he was never given an opportunity to respond or clear his name before the allegations were made public, and the suspension followed in what he views as a politically motivated campaign to push him out of office. To understand why this moment is so significant, it helps to look at the historical context. South Africa has had a long history of tension between political leadership and the police. During the apartheid years, the police were often seen as instruments of political power rather than impartial protectors of the law. After 1994, with the birth of democracy, there were great hopes that the police service would become independent, accountable, and free from political interference. But the reality has been more complicated. Over time, scandals, factional battles within the ANC, and corruption allegations have continued to blur the lines between politics and policing. Many South Africans remember the controversies involving former police commissioners like Jackie Selebi, who was convicted of corruption, or Becky Seal, who faced his own suspension years ago. These past events show that when accusations arise, they often reflect not just questions of personal integrity, but also the broader struggles for power within the ruling party and the state. Against this backdrop, the clash between Mchunu and Mkhwanazi is not surprising, but it is worrying. On one side, you have the police commissioner, a figure tasked with ensuring that officers can investigate crime without fear or favor. On the other side, you have a political leader who says he has been unfairly targeted and smeared. The timing of the allegations and the suspension has fueled speculation that this is less about fighting crime and more about political maneuvering. Within the ANC, there are already visible divisions about how the matter should be handled. Some voices believe that suspending Mchunu was the right step, since it allows for investigations to proceed without interference. Others argue that the decision was premature, legally shaky, and designed to sideline him for political reasons. Mchunu has been vocal about his innocence. In his affidavit, he described the suspension as legally baseless, insisting that he has never interfered with police operations and that no credible evidence has been presented to justify the drastic step taken against him. He also frames the situation as part of a bigger campaign aimed at removing him from office under the appearance of accountability. In his view, this is about political survival, not justice. He believes that allowing such tactics to succeed would harm South Africa's democratic institutions by showing that reputations can be destroyed without due process. Mkhwanazi, however, stands firm. He has not backed down from his earlier statements. He insists that his remarks about political figures obstructing police work were truthful, and he has promised to cooperate with any legal process that follows. This signals that he is ready to defend his position in court or in public forums. For him, this is about protecting the integrity of the police service, ensuring that law enforcement is not undermined by political pressure, and sending a clear message that no one is above scrutiny, regardless of their position in government. Experts believe the Constitutional Court may move quickly on this case, given its potential impact on executive accountability and police independence. If the court rules in Mchunu's favor, it could be seen as a strong defense of procedural fairness and due process, reinforcing the idea that no suspension should take place without proper evidence. If the ruling goes against him, it may strengthen the hand of those who argue that political figures cannot be allowed to compromise law enforcement, even if it means reputational damage. Either outcome will shape how future conflicts between police leadership and political heads are handled. For ordinary South Africans, this case speaks to bigger frustrations. Crime remains one of the top concerns in the country, with high levels of violent crime, corruption, and organized criminal activity. People want reassurance that the police service is focused on protecting them, not caught up in political fights. Every time there is a public clash like this, it risks undermining confidence in the system. Citizens may wonder whether leaders are really committed to fighting crime or simply using law enforcement as a tool in political battles. Looking to the future, the question is whether this case will mark a turning point or just another chapter in a long story of tension. If handled well, it could lead to stronger rules that protect both the independence of the police and the rights of political leaders to defend their reputations. It could also spark much-needed reforms to reduce political interference in policing. But if mishandled, it could deepen divisions, weaken accountability, and leave citizens more doubtful about whether justice is truly impartial. The story of Senzo Mchunu and Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is therefore not just about personal accusations. It is about how South Africa balances accountability with fairness, and how institutions that were meant to serve the people can sometimes become entangled in the struggles for political power. As the case moves forward, all eyes will be on the Constitutional Court, which has the difficult task of weighing legal principles against political realities. The outcome will not only decide the fate of one minister, but may also set the tone for how future disputes between police and politics are resolved. So what do you think about this situation? Do you believe Mchunu was unfairly targeted, or do you think his suspension was a necessary step to protect the police service from political influence? Should the Constitutional Court fast-track this case, or should it take its time to carefully examine all the evidence? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more in-depth political analysis, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.